In 2023, British police arrested over 12,000 people for things they posted online. That's 33 people a day, every day, for a year, arrested simply for saying words that the government didn't like. In that same window, police forces across England and Wales were sitting on a backlog of heinous rape cases stretching into the tens of thousands. A government-commissioned inquiry would later confirm that these disgusting organised child grooming networks had operated in British towns for well over a decade, with fewer than 300 convictions in 20 years. This all happened in the same country, with the same police force. One kind of harm gets a knock on the door within hours, another kind gets put on the back burner for a time that may never come. This isn't a story about politics, it's a story about the brutal death of a state that built the modern world. In December 2025, an 18-year-old student named Henry Nowak was stabbed to death in Southampton. Police body cam footage showed officers handcuffing Nowak as he lay dying after his attacker falsely told them he was the one who'd been racially abused. The footage detonated online. Politicians on the right called it proof of a two-tier system. The government called for calm and an inquiry. This especially outraged the locals. It showed that the accusation of racism was more important than a young lad being stabbed in cold blood. When the body camera was released, it created pure outrage. Then, right after that, in June 2026, in North Belfast, a man was filmed straddling another man in the street, attempting to behead Irish national Stephen Ogilvy. Bystanders pulled the attacker off before police arrived. The man charged was Sudanese, in the country on asylum status since 2023. Within a day, homes were burning in immigrant neighbourhoods, vehicles torched, riot police deployed. The Prime Minister called it sickening. Northern Ireland's First Minister called the riots disgusting cowardice. The British government seemed more concerned with the reaction to the gruesome event rather than the attempted beheading itself. 11 days later in Edinburgh, a 36-year-old Scottish man went through the streets with a blade, injuring 5 men. Several of them Muslim, attacked steps from a mosque. He told police he was protecting the country. This is the result of a country where the government has no care for their own citizens. Citizens feel a need to take matters into their own hands. Now, I'm not condoning what the Scottish man did, but the inaction and incompetence of the British government is what leads to this. This will unfortunately become a norm if the government does not start prosecuting its criminals the right way. Every single time, the same script ran. Outrage within hours. A statement of zero tolerance from the Prime Minister, word for word interchangeable with the last one. A promise of an investigation. Calls for calm from every party simultaneously. And then, nothing structural changes before the next one. That's the part that should bother you more than any single attack. The state's response has become a ritual that runs on autopilot. The words are ready before the body's cold. The structural fix never arrives. A country that can produce a near-identical press statement within the hour 3 times in 6 months for multiple completely different kinds of violence, but can't produce a justice system that clears its backlog or a policing model that any one of their citizens trust, has told you something true about where its actual capacity goes. Not into prevention, into messaging. The modern tragedy of what is going on in the United Kingdom should catch the attention of every nation around the world. Let it serve as a warning of a 2-tier justice system and unchecked mass migration. Police recorded 71,667 rape offences in England and Wales in the year ending March 2025. a number that's climbed sharply for a decade. A separate national inquiry confirmed organised child grooming networks operated in British towns for years, with convictions even now, numbering only in the hundreds. Meanwhile, in that same window, British police arrested over 12,000 people in a single year for things they posted online, 33 people a day, for messages a court would go on to convict less than 1 in 10 of. This isn't a story about censorship in the abstract or about crime in the abstract. Identifying who posted a message online is fast, cheap, and closes the same day. Investigating a years-old grooming network or clearing a backlog of rape cases is slow, expensive, and might still collapse in court after years of work. Ask yourself which one a stretched system reaches for first. Then ask why that's the system Britain ended up with. When a corrupt system like this keeps running long enough, people start choosing with their feet. Roughly 250,000 British nationals left the UK in 2025 alone, and the outflow has been quietly outpacing the people coming back for several years now. Just under 5 million British citizens now live abroad, just over half of them in Australia, the United States, and Canada. The UK is losing its youth rapidly. To be precise about it, this isn't a new stampede. Statisticians are clear that this outflow has been broadly stable, not accelerating. But stable decline is still decline. It's a steady, unspectacular bleed of working-age people choosing somewhere else year after year without any single dramatic moment to point to. That's the part that doesn't make headlines. Nobody leaves in a panic. They just don't come back. Here's the number underneath every other number in this video. In 2025, the average woman in England and Wales had 1.39 children. To keep a population stable across generations, no growth, no shrinkage, just holding steady. That number needs to be 2.075. Britain isn't close. It hasn't been close since the 1970s. 585,396 babies were born in England and Wales in 2025, the lowest number since 1977. Fewer births than almost any year in living memory, in a country with a larger population than it's ever had. And to add to the fact, the babies who were born, 4 in 10 now, have at least one parent who was born outside the UK. That share has roughly doubled in 20 years, 20.8% back in 2005, 40.2% by 2025. We're at a point where Great Britain will be looking dramatically different in the near future. Deaths now outnumber births in the UK, not might do. The ONS says that's been true since 2026 and will stay true for the rest of this projection. Every year, more coffins than cradles. So where does the population growth you keep hearing about actually come from? One place. Immigration is now the only source of UK population growth left. Not a major source. Not the largest source. The only one. Strip migration out of the equation entirely and Britain's population isn't projected to grow at all. It's projected to fall by millions over the next 25 years as deaths quietly outpace births year after year. As of now, white British are projected to be the racial minority by 2063 or possibly sooner if the mass migration continues. That's the part nobody wants to say in the same sentence, because it detonates in both directions at once. If you're worried about immigration levels, the uncomfortable truth is that immigration is the only thing currently keeping the population from shrinking. If you're worried about a vanishing birth rate, the uncomfortable truth is that no government policy tried so far anywhere in the developed world has reversed this trend once it sets in. The old age dependency ratio, the number of retirees for every working age adult paying into the system, is projected to keep climbing for decades. Fewer workers, more pensioners. A welfare and pension system built for a pyramid in a country that's turning into a column. This isn't an uncommon place for Western nations to be at. France, the United States, almost every developed nation is below replacement level too, but Britain is choosing how to answer the question first. Keir Starmer is the 6th Prime Minister in a decade to stand outside that door and announce his own ending. His successor will be the 7th. He didn't create the debt. He didn't write the laws on offensive communication. He didn't fail to convict the grooming gangs. Those failures happened under different governments, different parties, different decades. That's the part that should actually unsettle you. This isn't a story about one bad leader. It's a story about a system that has kept producing the same outcome no matter who's holding the pen. Because the underlying arithmetic hasn't changed in 20 years, the country that once governed a quarter of the Earth's land surface now struggles to clear a court docket. Burnham inherits the same ledger Starmer did, the same backlog, the same debt, the same hollowed enforcement priorities. The empire didn't fall in a single dramatic moment anyone could point to and say, "There, that's when it happened." It just kept choosing every year what it could no longer afford to do.